Hi everyone! Welcome to the first ever video on the Chimera Empress channel. Here on the channel I hope to upload more spiritual content for you guys, but for this first initial video, this is a spiritual reading on what makes you a supernova. So this reading was inspired by the song Supernova by the K-pop girl group aespa. You don't need to know them and you don't need to know the song. I recommend listening to it because it is one of my favorite hype songs ever. But in this reading, I meant supernova to mean a celestial explosion of immense energy. So it's supposed to symbolize your transformation, your radiance, and your rebirth. Like, I had this idea months ago when I was listening to Supernova, and I was like, wow, this would be a really cool reading to do for other people because I would love to highlight what makes other people so radiant. And I feel like everybody deserves to celebrate their light and to embrace their unique gifts. And the main objective for this reading as well is to provide clarity and reassurance to everybody watching this that you are indeed evolving into something magnificent. And I also wanted this to be an opportunity to reclaim your power, because I feel like many times, whether you experience setbacks or you experience fear or doubt in your life, people have a tendency to dim their light because they don't think they deserve to take up space, when in reality that's not true. You deserve to take up space and you deserve to be seen. You deserve to know that you are here for something greater and that you do have purpose. So that is what this reading here is for today. And if you're new to pick a card readings as well, I set the intention for the reading in general, but for each pile to pull out messages that are only meant for your highest good. So if you hear something you don't like, just know that this is just a reading on YouTube. This does not dictate the trajectory of your life. So if you hear something that triggers you or you don't like, you have the free will and the opportunity to change it. This is just for funsies. This is just a hype of a reading. This is supposed to make you feel good about all the qualities you have in your life and everything you have going for you. So if you're someone that's like, oh, I'm not a supernova, I'm not this person, like, clearly you are drawn to this video for a reason. If you can recognize your strengths, or if you can recognize your weaknesses, then you can definitely recognize your strengths. So let's put aside the self-deprecation for 5 seconds and lean into the energy of being a supernova. And especially since, you know, I would only be able to recognize what makes other people supernovas because I'm a supernova myself. So I'm here to help you recognize that you are destined to shine and you deserve to acknowledge the own radiance within yourself. So that being said, these are the 3 piles I have for you today. So this first pile, the crystal I picked, I don't know if this is reflecting well on screen, but this is a Garnet crystal. The second pile is Amethyst, and the third one is Howlite. I recommend picking a pile that you feel intuitively drawn to. Don't necessarily pick the first pile that you see, or it's like, oh, my favorite crystal is this crystal, so I should choose based on that. I would say, like, maybe close your eyes and whatever group you feel drawn to, go to that group. And since this is a hype up reading too, if you feel drawn to more than one pile, you're definitely welcome to watch the other pile as well. And this is a timeless reading too, so whenever you're watching this, it doesn't have to be at the time of uploading. There will always be a message for you here. So take some time to pick which group you feel called to and then head to your pile for your reading. So I'll see you in a bit, supernovas. Hi, Group 1. If you chose the Garnet star, then this is your reading on what makes you a supernova. So to start off, just based on the crystal that you guys chose, I always associate Garnet with traveling and or journeying. So I have the mental image of someone that has been doing a lot of shadow work or trying to uncover a lot of aspects of themselves that aren't the most comfortable to face. The reason why I say that is because when I think of Garnet, I also think of the story of Hades and Persephone. When Persephone journeys into the underworld, so I feel like the people that have picked this pile have been in a state where they're trying to face the more uncomfortable emotions or feelings or shadow aspects of themselves that aren't the most pleasing to uncover. So I just wanted to say you guys are doing a great job, and it's not the easiest thing to embark on, especially when you're on a journey to genuinely improve your life. But I also get the image of like a cloaked figure, like a hooded figure, as if you're trying to traverse your journey with a hood on. Like, I feel like there's a lot of not just physical, like I feel like it's not just like an attack on your physical environment. There's also a psychological component too, where it's like you're really trying to shield yourself physically and psychically. So if you're ever feeling afraid, or if you're ever in fear that something is kind of out to get you, whether that's an entity or a feeling, or you just don't feel comfortable or safe within your own skin, you can just repeat to yourself, I am safe and I am protected, and say that to yourself as many times as you need to. You can think it out loud, or you could say it to yourself aloud too. But whenever you feel afraid, I definitely recommend just repeating that to yourself as many times as you can. Even if you don't necessarily believe it, it's okay. Just try to trick your brain into thinking that you're safe and you're protected and that you're grounded. So that was just the intro message I got from your crystal. So now we're gonna delve into your cards. So there's 3 questions in total that I wanted to pose in order to find out why or what makes you a supernova. So the first card is going to represent what qualities of yours that can no longer be hidden. And it's this crystal card. It's the Tanzine Aura Quartz with the qualities of enchantment, cosmic, and alchemy. And I just want to say, out of all the piles, I don't really know if I'm allowed to say this, but whatever, it's my YouTube channel. I can say whatever I want, I guess. But Group 1, I had to sit with your energy for a day because it left the most impact on me, to the point where I'm like, I think I have a crush on pile 1, you guys. The energy from this pile is so vast and expansive that I don't even think you know how vast and expansive you truly are. Especially the colors. Okay, if I can grab this card so I could flip it to the other side. What is the point of me having long nails if I can't like flip it over? Okay, cool. So if you notice the colors on this card, it's blues and indigos and purples, and that was the colors that I saw when I was trying to channel the energy of this pile. So for each pile, before I pull any cards, I always ask the universe or spirit to tap me into the energy, and I just saw these vast, vibrant hues of indigos and blues, and I just saw like legit cosmic stars and universes behind my eyes. So out of all the piles, I would definitely say this is the pile that has the most access to higher consciousness and or the upper chakra system. So that would be heart chakra, throat chakra, third eye, and crown. So there's a lot of access to higher knowledge and higher consciousness already in this pile that I don't know if you are aware of that, but that is what I'm picking up on. So the qualities of yours that can no longer be hidden. Okay. Okay, I don't know if you can hear that, but there's some kid out in the courtyard of my apartment that was just making noises. But anyway, the qualities of yours that can no longer be hidden is that you are a forward-thinking, innovative visionary. The energy that I'm getting from your pile is very Aquarian in nature. So I don't know if you have Sun, Moon, Rising, and or Mercury in your chart, but Aquarius energy is very out of the box. It is a very forward thinking sign. And the thing about Aquarius energy too is that it's not the most appreciated in the moment because it is so forward thinking and because it is so innovative that the true genius of whatever an Aquarius says or does won't be fully appreciated until years down the line, like 3, 5, even 10 years, and sometimes even more. So the qualities I would say that can no longer be hidden is the fact that you are a natural leader and you do have a way of seeing and thinking of the world that is way different than the people around you. And I kind of get the feeling that maybe I wouldn't go as far as to say you were shunned for it, but I would definitely say you've raised some eyebrows on the things that you've expressed or observed about your world that maybe not everyone around you fully understood, or maybe they brushed you off and kind of laughed at you. But I need that part of you to come out more. It's the part of you that makes you truly unique. And we need more people with varying viewpoints and different ways of seeing the world. Because what's the fun in agreeing with what everyone says or to be another yes man in a society where if you don't hold the same opinion as them, you kind of get, I don't know, blasted for it. Your strength is that you have the viewpoints and the communication style that you are because you were already meant to observe something different. And you were meant to bring viewpoints of higher understanding to a society that, yeah, for the most part, it's a bunch of sheep. Most people, I would say, don't really want to or see outside the box besides of the news and the viewpoints that are given in society or social media, where it's just a big echo chamber. So you can see and communicate beyond what everyone else can. And that is such a gift. And I hope that this encourages you to bring that out more. Because I see that communicating and philosophizing, I don't know if that's a word, but I feel like you ponder about the bigger questions in life and you ponder more about the everyday things as well, like new ways of seeing things. Or if you hear an opinion, you're the one to be like, well, why does everybody think this way? What about the other side? So don't let that part of your voice die down, because we need we need new voices. We need new ways of thinking. We need new ways of seeing the world. So moving on then to the next question on how do you impact the world with your energy. And you got the Messiah attribute to serve humanity with humility. So this definitely confirms that there's some Aquarian energy going on, because Aquarius is also tied to humanitarian causes or serving humanity from a very selfless point of view. And also because there's a Messiah card here, it's also making me think of Christ consciousness, which is basically like higher levels of consciousness and understanding. So I would recommend looking into that as well and seeing if that resonates with you. But there's a lot of references to God in your reading, so I don't know if you have grown up religious or maybe you follow a more structured like religious practice. But I would also like to say that okay, sorry. I try to figure out a way how to best word this, but I'm thinking of, I don't know if it's a Bible verse, I'm pretty sure it is, but there was a Bible verse that said we're created in God's image. I love that 10 years of Christian private school is, this is what it's coming down to, where I'm like, yeah, it's that one Bible verse, maybe, I don't know. But it's that one verse that says we're created in God's image. And I feel like with you guys, Pile One, you tend to not see yourself as a reflection of God. I feel like you downplay your gifts and your individual essence as to be like, I'm beneath, I'm not that type of person, or this is my place. Like, you literally got a Messiah card, and your group has the most access to higher levels of consciousness and understanding. So I kind of need you guys to wake up a little and realize that you are a reflection of divinity. The way that I interpret that verse, we are created in God's image, it's like, okay, if we are created in God's image, then that means that we are also God. I don't know if maybe that's like sacrilegious to say, but that is genuinely the way I interpret that phrase. We are divine beings because we are of divine essence. We all are supernovas because we are all made of stars. We all have that divinity in us, and to deny that aspect of ourselves is essentially to deny God, to deny the universe, to deny the very thing that makes us us, because at the end of the day, we're humans having we're spiritual beings having a human experience, sorry. And I think there's a part of you that denies that divine aspect in favor of, well, this is just the human realm. I'm just a human. I'm sure when I go to heaven or wherever, that's when things are going to get better. And I don't think you would have these qualities within you if you weren't meant to make a heaven on earth for yourself and the people around you. Because you are a natural leader, and because there is all these aspects of you that want to serve others so selflessly, it's like you're also putting yourself on the back burner as well. Because the one thing I will say about this group, I actually tried to record this yesterday, and there was a bunch of distractions that kept popping up. Like, I got a text from my mom the minute I started recording for this pile, and just a bunch of random things that kept on happening. And the same thing today too, kind of, where that kid was just making a bunch of noise. So I don't know if your commitments to your family are something that takes you away from taking time to commune with yourself and tapping into your higher level of awareness. And I want to be sensitive when I say that, because I understand that I'm not trying to say that family isn't important or that the bonds and commitments that you've made with other people aren't important, because they are. But when it comes down to the level of time and energy that you're outputting towards other people, and that leaves little room for you to sit with yourself and sit with your inner voice, then yeah, I personally would consider that a detriment. I think there's a part of you that is very self-sacrificing, and yeah, that's a great thing that you're able to put others before yourself. But if you're watching this video at the time that in whatever aspect of your life that you're watching this, I definitely think that you're watching this because you know that you're in a time of transition, and whether you realize it or not, I think you feel it intuitively that there's something in you that needs to change. So again, I'm not saying F everybody else or push other people to the side, but you have so much wisdom and knowledge to cultivate, and a lot of that can't come to the surface if your energy and your efforts are always putting other people first. So we need your godlike energy to come out, because that is how you're going to impact the world. Of course, you can impact the world through your selfless acts, but we need that genius to come out of you, and it's not necessarily going to come out by being other people's savior in a way that doesn't allow you to essentially capitalize on your Christ consciousness, if that makes sense. But okay, I kind of got into that part of the reading a lot. I just saw a lot, and I just had to ramble for a second, because I'm like, yo, it's good to be a kind-hearted, selfless person, but yeah, there is a cost, and there is a time where that needs to be balanced out. So in short, maybe try to be a little selfish, just a little. But okay, the final aspect of your reading. What phase of your life is about to explode with potential? And you got victory and success. This card in particular, this corresponds to the Six of Wands in traditional tarot, which, whether or not you're familiar with tarot, Six of Wands is basically the celebratory card. It's basically well, I call it the clout card because it's supposed to highlight your achievement and highlight a part of your life where the spotlight is genuinely on you. And I feel like you're someone who you tend to be more humble, and it's not wrong to celebrate your victory and success. It doesn't make you a cocky person. It doesn't make you arrogant. In fact, I actually hate the word humility or being humble, because the etymology is lowly. It literally means the ground and low. And I think that is a terrible way of going through life, being you need to be humble, this and that. Because I would just like to say, life definitely humbles the best of us, right? There are times where we're going to have to face L's or accept L's in our lives. But that doesn't mean you have to stay down. That doesn't mean you have to accept that as fact for the rest of your life. It's such a detriment to hold on to your losses, because that's not the full trajectory of your life. My dad in particular, I'm mentioning him because he has an Aquarius rising. So yeah, for real, if you have Aquarius placements, I feel like this is really relevant. My dad has mentioned to me over the last several months, like, yeah, you know, life throws a bunch of things at you, but you don't stay down. What matters is that you get back up and you keep moving forward. Like, you only stay down if you want to stay down. So you do have a choice. You do have a choice to be this humble person, to be this person that always puts others before themselves, always listening to others and never having a chance to cultivate your wisdom or your voice. Or you can rise up, you can be victorious, and you can actually reclaim your narrative from one of like humble, lowly origins, or someone that just has a cloak over their head to not attract attention, to not put themselves out there, someone that's just content being in the shadows. Because the energy that I get from your pile, you're not content from living in the shadow, so stop lying to yourself. You are literally meant to rise up and overcome and create a new narrative for yourself. I don't know if maybe it's just the conditioning that you're in. Maybe you, like, yeah, same thing of like, yeah, maybe you were in an environment where people didn't admire or cherish the things that you would say or bring forward. Or maybe you experienced some L's in your life that humbled you. But you don't need to dim your light even further. You can reclaim your power and break free from your limitations and embrace your unique God-given gifts. Yeah. Yeah, I would just like to say you still have the time to emerge as a victor and write your story as a victor. You're only going to lose if you decide that you're going to lose and you just choose to not do anything about it. But you do have a choice. You still have a choice to rise up, and you still have a choice to literally like rise from the dead and become your ultimate self and become your ultimate form. It's there. The potential is there. You are not defined by your past. Pile 1, group 1, you are defined by your limitless potential, and I need you to remember that. It's not about the mistakes that you've made. It's not about the fear that you hold, and it's not about the doubts that plague your mind. Whenever you feel like you have nothing to offer or there's no reason to put yourself out there, I just need you to remember that you are defined by your limitless potential. Okay, so to wrap up this reading then, I wanted to pull a lyric from the song Supernova, and just for funsies and to also end the reading on a lighter note. So the lyric that you guys got, very relevant. Every one of my cells are created from stars. See, you are cosmic, you are light, you are radiance. There's so much brilliance in this pile, and I hope that this reading makes you realize that you are full of potential and that your light was meant to shine. You have so much to offer the world, and I hope that you see how amazing you are. Even if you have faults, even if you still have things that you're working on, even if you're working through uncomfortable emotions or memories, thought patterns, the light and shadow aspects of yourself, they still make you you. You are still worthy even with your faults, all your unique traits, all the things that people may have shunned you for or didn't accept. In totality, you are an expression of the divine. You are literally a supernova. So, yeah. Group 1, I really enjoyed your energy. Like, stop being humble, please. Just stop. Just knock it off. Like rise up from the dead like Jesus and resurrect. I need y'all to resurrect and become your ultimate form, because you are literally created from stars. Please shine bright, and please continue to shine bright. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, Group 1. I wish you all the best, and I will catch you in the next reading. So, bye. All right, hi Group 2. If you chose the Amethyst crystal, the Amethyst star, then this is your reading. So I just wanted to do a little energy check slash things I was already picking up before we head into the cards. Out of all the groups, this was a very elusive group. When I was trying to tap into the energy before pulling cards, I was not getting a lot. It was very difficult to pull cards and or tap into the energy. It was just giving very stubborn. Like, it wasn't letting up. I wasn't able to see or envision much. But what I could see and what I could feel was the very faintest energy of heart chakra energy, or energy that was emanating from the heart. So right off the bat, I would say this is already a very stubborn pile. It's like it's almost being like, it's just refusing to be seen, even though there is a pulse of energy that is bursting, wanting to burst out and be seen and acknowledged. I also think this is a very image conscious pile, and when I say that, it's not to do with how you look externally, it's how people are perceiving you. It's very much like you don't want to be perceived as weak, which is why you probably don't want to share more than you're comfortable with, and let alone express how much you genuinely have to share that is bursting from your heart space in particular. The purple in Amethyst too makes me think of regalness, since, what was it, like purple pigment or dye was so rare back in ye olden days that only royalty had access to purple. So there's a very like saving face, like I can't let the public know that I'm going through it type vibe. It's very much like, oh, I have to keep this crown on my head and I have to face the people with a smile even though I'm going through it. So yeah, it's a very austere pile. It's like you can afford to like let up for a quick moment, and you can afford to let people in, because there's actually a lot of heart energy that I feel, even though there's a lot of mental and energetic barriers up. But I know deep down this group is a softie, so it's like, okay, you can have your little stiff upper lip, the Crown Netflix moment, but it's okay. You don't have to take yourself that seriously. And I'm saying this because I feel like this is my pile, so this is also a reminder to me, just as it is to the rest of y'all out there. So, that out of the way, let's delve into the qualities of what makes you a supernova, starting with the first card, which will represent what qualities of yours can no longer be hidden. And it is this crystal card, blue, aragonite, empathy, compassion, and communication. Yeah, see, this is where the heart chakra energy that I was feeling in the beginning of the reading was coming from. Out of all the things I could feel, like, it felt like this burst of heart-centered energy really wanted to come out, even though it was essentially repressed. But the quality of yours that can no longer be hidden is that you're a very compassionate person, and you have the ability to foster authentic connections with people. So that's why I kind of think it's funny that the energy in the beginning of the reading was very like, I want to keep people away. I don't want people to know how much I am this heart-centered person, how much I am this compassionate person. Well, that part of you has to be put to rest. The part of you that wants to empathize with others and genuinely connect with people from a heart-centered place is what needs to come out. Not only for other people, but for yourself. I think there's a part of you that genuinely loves connecting, and your heart feels warmer because of it. You have a way of making people feel seen, especially with the blue hues of this card too. It's making me think that you are able to communicate from people authentically. One, because you have a very compassionate heart, but also when you connect with people, you really do see people for who they are, and it's a really rare gift to see others the way that they want to be seen. Which also makes me think too, maybe there's a part of you that thinks that this gift is also a curse, because you can see these things in other people, and sometimes it saddens you when other people aren't connecting to you and noticing things about you the same way that you notice things about other people. So that's a valid concern. But at this part of your life, since this reading is for people that are in a transition period of your life, I don't think you need to worry about that much longer. I think the more that you're willing to be yourself and be courageous enough to show people your vulnerabilities, the more people are willing to see you for you and are willing to make that extra step of seeing you. Because, yeah, there's always that line, right? To be seen is to be loved. And a lot of people do tend to make projections onto people. They do project how other people are. And it's not always the most accurate as to how a person is actually seen. So if you're worried about being seen for who you are, I don't think you need to worry that much, because if you're already this compassionate and your capacity for empathy and connection is already at the expansive state that it already is, then I don't think you need to worry that much about people not truly seeing you for you. I think you're already on the way. And this has been a process for a while, I feel. This has been something that you've been working on, whether it's expanding your heart space so that you are able to make more room for authentic connections, or room in your heart to connect more with other people, or to even clear out the heart space where we tend to hold a lot of emotional trauma. I just want to say that, Pile 2, congrats, first of all, on your journey, because I know it's not the easiest. It's not the easiest when your heart space has been either blocked off, or maybe you didn't know what it meant to have an open heart, or to even be in a receptive state where you can have the friendships and connections that you never thought you could. So whatever work you've been putting in to clear all those negative emotions and doubts, especially around connections, like this is a really great step. And don't hide that beautiful heart of yours. Your heart is such a gift, and your heart is such an expansive state, is in an expansive state. So please continue the great work. I can't wait to see what type of love and what type of gifts will come out of you being vulnerable and sharing that compassion with others. Well, that was really soft. I feel like yeah, this is such a funny group, because at first it was so like, it was like so hard to like get a read, but it's the type of group that has a hard outer shell, but it's actually a really soft-hearted group. Okay, group 2, you guys are cute. I like you guys. But yeah, moving on to how do you impact the world with your energy? Got the Goddess card, which has the light attributes, the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. Even if you don't identify as a woman, the goddess energy could also just refer to the more like feminine energetic aspects of creation and sensuality and compassion. The way I interpret this energy is very like nurturing and with a creative force. So how are you impacting the world with your energy, group 2? You're impacting the world with that big heart of yours and with that compassion. The goddess archetype in particular, it's a very giving archetype. There's so much to give, and you have everything to gain by sharing your heart, and you have a lot more to lose by not sharing your love and your heart with the rest of the world. Like the love and heart-centered energy in this group is on like divine proportions. Like you wouldn't get the goddess card if your heart and what you had to offer with your soft nurturing energy, it wouldn't come up this way if it wasn't significant. I think the more that you fall into that trap or doubt of, I have nothing to offer, I don't have anything of value to offer, the world actually becomes a sadder place. We will never know the full aspects, the full extent of the love and care and creations that you have by shielding that heart of yours away. I also feel like you were here to ground something so ethereal in a way that only you could possibly ever do it. Like there is so much divine expression that's flowing within you and that wants to come out. But for some reason, it's like, I feel like there is an aspect of you that is holding back. And I'm not sure if that's because of fear or doubt, but there's so much life in you that wants to be expressed, but it feels like it's being contained. And you kind of have to just let those restraints go. I know that's easier said than done, but Like really, when I was tapping into this energy before I pulled in the cards, it really felt like something was bursting, wanting to burst out, and like almost basically screaming to be let out. And yeah, it's that part of you that demands to be seen and expressed in this world. You were meant to be seen. You have so much value. Your creations have so much value. So I don't know too if maybe this group is a more creative group, because I also feel like a lot of sacral chakra energy, which the sacral chakra does point to our creative and sensual centers. So whatever is meant to be expressed, whether that's art or words or dance, there's something in you that is meant to be expressed and is wanting to be let out. And even if that's not a creation per se, even if it's just showing up and being seen in the world authentically as you, that is also you are also a creation. You are also a divine expression. Like your being is literally art. And even if it's just you wanting to be seen, that is already the part of you that is like wanting to be let out. It's wanting to be expressed. It's funny how when I was channeling this card's energy, it was so calm, it was so heart-centered, but the minute that the goddess card came out, it was like all this fire energy came out. Like this fire and earth energy of like there's so much expression wanting to come out, but then there's always the practical side of it of like, yeah, but how do I ground this? So it's like, it's almost like there's two sides of like, how is this practical? And it doesn't necessarily need to be practical in the moment, but I feel like the minute that you decide that you want to be seen and that you accept the basic want of wanting to be seen, then that's when things start to really take a turn. It's okay to want to be seen. It's okay to want to form connections. It's okay that you want to be seen as valuable. But that does start by acknowledging that you do already inherently have value. You are already a goddess. You don't need other people to validate that. In you, you already are a divine being. So I hope you remember that much. But to move on to the final aspects of what makes you a supernova, these cards are going to represent what phase of your life is about to explode with potential. And 2 cards actually came out. I was trying to get a card for each aspect, but if there was like 2 cards that came out, I just accepted that. So new beginnings and temptation. So this card represents the Fool in traditional tarot, and this card represents the Devil in traditional tarot. But what I'm getting here is that your fear of being seen is also rooted in a fear of looking foolish. And again, it reminds me of the beginning of the reading where it's like you really care about how you're perceived. And I would just like to say, who cares about looking like a fool, especially when you're doing something for the first time and you're putting yourself out there in a way that you haven't done before? Especially too because there was so much heart chakra energy, especially in love, whether or not this is romantic love or the love you have for yourself. I saw a quote on Twitter the other day that was like, yeah, you're supposed to look foolish in love. You're supposed to be a fool in love. You have to be willing to look like a fool in love. And yeah, whether to go slightly off tangent, in this day and age. I don't know why we transitioned into a society that's like, you know, the I don't give an F. I won the I don't give an F war. Like, that honestly is so lame. This is already a very passionate pile, even if this pile is working on expressing that part of themselves and expressing passion to the world. There is so much passion that wants to be expressed that's like, who cares? Be willing to be a beginner again in your self-expression. And if people think you're foolish for trying something new or showing up in the world in a way that you haven't before, who cares? Like, those who matter don't mind, and that those that mind don't matter. People that think people like you are being fools are honestly the fools themselves. Like, that you're stepping into a time in your life where you're showing up in the most authentic way that you possibly can. And it's okay if you fall a couple times. It's okay if you trip. It's okay if you don't have it perfect, because that's not the point. The point of being authentic is not to be perfect. The point of being authentic is to show up with your imperfections. That is also what makes it more endearing. Knowing that you have your little quirks, or I don't know, you're not like all there, and yet you still show up unapologetically. And that is the part that is aching to be expressed, to be unapologetically, courageously you. Because it takes a lot of courage to show up in the world as you are. And a lot of people have problems with seeing people that are comfortable in themselves to put themselves out there. And it says a lot more about those types of people and those critics than it does about yourself. Because what type of miserable person do you have to be that type of person and be like, who does she think she is? Who do they think they are? So, well, clearly I can see what type of person you are, because you're the one pointing the finger. I love how I'm getting heated. Like, I'm fighting group 2's haters, because they're just so irrelevant. Like, you're pile 2, you're the supernova. You showed up here for this reading, so you definitely deserve the clout, and you definitely deserve to be celebrated. Even if you haven't shown up as your most authentic self yet, maybe you're still in the process, and maybe you're still figuring things out. Maybe you're still wondering on how you want to show up in this world. That's fine. But the fact that there's already so much potential here and so much work to be done or so much work that has already been done on your end, that deserves to be celebrated, and that deserves to be acknowledged, because there are so many people that just point fingers at that and judge, and they are just the most miserable people I've ever seen. They're so discontent in their own lives that they're going to be triggered by someone like you, someone that wants to do things differently, wants to show up authentically, is comfortable enough in their skin to show up as they are. So, yeah. F the haters, dude. But that being said, this temptation card, I'm interpreting this as, I think that this group 2, there's a lot of doubt as much as there is like this courageous energy of wanting to step out and wanting to be seen. I think the reason too of why there's this energy of, oh, I feel foolish, I would caution, try not to fall into the trap of fear and doubt. Because I think there's a part of you, group 2, that thinks you don't know better, that kind of admonishes yourself for feeling foolish. Like, who am I to be doing these things? Why am I doing these things? Or I feel stupid. And That's just really sad to me. I feel like there's a part of you that thinks you're going to slip back into old patterns or old ways of being, as if your new version of yourself isn't sustainable. But the potential is there, and you can't nip it in the bud just yet. Because even though this new beginning is here for you, you can't be so quick to shut the door on it the minute that you feel a dip in your confidence. I feel like the true test is continuing to bravely walk forward, even with your doubt and with your fear. You will never go back to how you were. You've already done so much work that there's no way you could possibly regress. So don't fall into that temptation of thinking to yourself that you don't know better, because that's not true. Everything in your reading proves that you do know better and you have been doing better. Whatever fear and doubt you may face on your path, especially when you're transitioning into this new period of your life, sit with it, but let it pass. Fear is as temporary as you make it to be. It's a state of mind, but it's not a state of being. And especially with the amethyst crystal too, this is supposed to represent the fact that you are making choices that are for your highest good. And you need to trust yourself enough and believe in yourself enough that you are making decisions that benefit your life. And you are not regressing at all. In fact, you're doing the opposite. Because again, you wouldn't click on this reading too if you truly were regressing. If you really were regressing, you wouldn't think of yourself as a supernova. So it's okay to have that fear. It's okay to have that fear of doing something new and stepping into a new state of being. But nurture this potential in you. Nurture this inner flame that wants to spread. Don't let fear consume you. Let the excitement of something new be the flame. Be the thing that ignites the inner flame within you. And to wrap up this reading then, I wanted to pull a lyric from the actual song Supernova. And I got this line for you: bring the light of a dying star, watch this universe, I brought out supernova. And I love this for you, pile 2. Because yeah, stars are essentially dying. But it's a transformative energy. With each death, so to say, or with each rebirth, there's something new that is born from it. So I don't really know what happened in your guys' past. I don't know what happened prior to this reading, but you have so much in you that wants to be expressed. You have so much light in you that wants to come out, and there are people around you that want to see that too. They want to see you express yourself. They want to see you shine. As much as there's people that are like, who do you think you are? There are so many people that want to see the universe within you brought to life. If you've had to rise from the ashes, if you've experienced, multiple ego deaths in your life, you still deserve to let that light shine. You still deserve to recognize and bring out your unique brilliance. So, group 2, I really loved your reading, and I love that it got darker. See, maybe that's like a sign too. The darker things get, or whatever doubt you feel, you just have to shine brighter. May that be the motivation in you for your light to continue to shine. So group 2, you are a supernova. I love you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. All right. Hi, pile 3. If you chose the I'm gonna assume this is Howlite. I'm pretty sure this is a Howlite crystal. Then this is your reading. So you are the last group I'm filming for, but don't think that it's definitely not last but not least. We're definitely gonna have some time to discuss how amazing you are. But before we begin, just wanted to delve a little bit into the crystal that you chose. So this is a Howlite crystal. I'm pretty confident this is a Howlite crystal. This was actually a part of this candle right here, of the star candle. Each candle has a star crystal in it, and when I looked at this crystal in the candle, I was like, wow, this would actually be really good to use in this reading. So that is how this crystal came about. But for this crystal in particular, this is a crystal that is tied to clarity. It is tied to temperance, and what I mean by temperance is like clarity and emotional control. So I don't know if maybe the people that chose this pile have water placements in their big 3. This is also a crystal that is tied to mercurial energy, so Gemini or Virgo. So off the bat, I'm already sensing that there may be an imbalance between your mental and your emotional energies. I'm not sure if maybe your emotions are telling you one thing and your head and your thoughts are telling you another. But I definitely feel like it's been at war for a while now. But we'll delve deeper into that in the reading. Also, this crystal is tied to water energy. So this is your sign that if you need to cool off, drink some water. If you feel imbalanced, drink some water. If you feel like you're gonna pass out, drink some water. I would use this as an opportunity to drink water with you. So maybe, yeah, that's not an ask. It's like, you know what? Yeah, if you're watching this, drink water right now. I would do that, but my water bottle is on the dining room table and I kind of don't want to get it right now. And all I have is a watered down matcha that I completely forgot about to drink because I got into the other piles, but there, I sipped it. So maybe that counts as a form of hydration. But anyways, let's delve into the qualities that make you a supernova pile 3. So this first card is going to represent the qualities of yours that can no longer be hidden. I'm gonna put this over here. And you got blue, excuse me, obsidian. Okay, yeah, maybe getting water was a better idea because I think the matcha powder got in my throat. So excuse me. I'm so sorry about that. Anyways, group 3. You got the blue obsidian card, which points to traits of expansive divination and astral travel. Okay. Group 3. There is a lot of mental chatter with this group. I already kind of feel it too, the way that I'm talking. It's a lot different from the other 2 piles. I feel more yappy. And that's not a bad thing. And having mental chatter isn't inherently a bad thing. But I definitely feel like there's an excess of mental energy that is almost to your detriment. especially if you're a mercurial placement. It's okay. I'm not coming for y'all because I personally have a Virgo moon, and it's really hard to shut my mind up because it's always active at all times of the day. So I'm not telling you to go against your nature if you do have Gemini or Virgo in your big three, or if you have a Gemini Mercury for that matter. I'm definitely not telling you to shut up. But I think you have a tendency on letting your thoughts control you past the point of it being beneficial. Like, of course, you're going to think about things, right? You're going to think about things throughout your day, but sometimes those thoughts spiral into something that becomes uncontrollable, and then it just becomes a vortex of thoughts that are really hard to get out of. And while your brain of yours is definitely an asset, I feel like the quality that is growing inside of you now is for your mental space to provide you with more clarity than it is confusion and doubt. Because I feel like, especially if you have a mercurial energy present in your birth chart, you're already prone to thinking about option after option, or like step 1, step 2, step 3, subset A, subset B, and it's just like a never-ending list or never-ending train of thoughts that it's kind of hard to circle back to your original intent. But I also feel like, especially when it comes to your own self-talk, excuse me, I feel like it can have the tendency to lead you to some negative spaces as well. And I think you're trying to transition out of that. You're trying to transition your mental space into not creating thoughts or mental clutter that debilitates you but strengthens you. I know when you're an overthinker, it can feel like a curse sometimes, because it's like, oh my God, why can't my mind shut up? Why can't my mind leave you at peace? And I feel like you're entering a time where, even if you're not there yet, you're actively trying to work on better mental habits. You're trying to work on more positive, realistic self-talk rather than berating yourself for either not getting things done or, I don't know, for not being prepared enough. So I think you're on the way. The quality that is coming out to be expressed is the part of you that is the part of your mind that actually wants to befriend you and wants to make you stronger, not inhibit you with your thoughts. And also too, because there is a mention of astral travel here, or just being expansive too in higher consciousness, I feel like the more that you're able to balance that mental energy in yourself, you actually have more room for seeing more synchronicities in your life. Maybe you already do, but I feel like when you're trying to balance out your mental energy, it's hard to pick up on the signs of the universe trying to speak to you. And especially with the mention of astral travel, the more that the mental chatter falls away, the more that the universe is trying to speak with you and give you signs, whether that's through dreams or synchronicities. It's like the universe is actually trying to communicate with you and like essentially call you. But the more that you're stuck in your head, you can't really be receptive to that energy. So I would say definitely pay attention. if you can, like, get outside of your head for 5 minutes and look around, because maybe there's an angel number looking at you in the face, but your mind is somewhere else, so you can't really be present. And pay attention to your dreams too. If you don't already write down your dreams when you wake up, I recommend doing so. You could see symbolism or messages that are meant for you. So, hey, I'm all for it. It's a little bit, okay, this is getting like a little paranormal, I have to admit, but this is, the universe tries to reach those that are hard to reach, let's say. So if the mental chatter, it starts to become too much, then yeah, the universe is also going to answer that by like basically kind of increasing the paranormal activity. But you don't be afraid. This isn't like a bad thing, and you also do have control of this. If you do feel things or sensations that kind of creep you out, then you still have control over that. You can ask the universe to send you signs in a way that that would benefit more to you. It's like, obviously don't like welcome sleep paralysis demons in your sleep or whatever, but you can ask the universe, hey universe, can you please show me a sign that I'm on the right way, that I'm on the right path, and the universe will listen to that. So you do have control over that aspect. I promise it's not just going to be like paranormal activity because you're hard to reach during the daytime or whatever. So moving on, how do you impact the world with your energy? Group 3. And you got the athlete card with the light attributes to dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower, and strength of spirit. So I will say that when I was trying to tap into the energy of your guys' pile, I felt this tiredness. I felt like this weariness. The mental image I got at the time was like training or being on a marathon, where it's like you're running on a track endlessly, to the point where I almost felt like this pile was like, just give me whatever you want. I don't really care. I'm tired. Whatever messages you have to give me, I'll take it. To which, this is why I said what I said at the beginning. Like, we're gonna be spending time together, pile 3, and whether or not you're tired and whether or not you're exhausted, we're gonna delve into that attitude just a little bit here. There was another attribute card that fell out, but I decided to not put it in this reading. And it was the mediator card, which gives me a better depth of what is going on here. You don't have to be an athlete, first of all, for this to resonate. The way that I'm interpreting this card is that you endure a lot. Whether or not people around you see that, you carry a lot on your shoulders. You carry a weight that not many people would ever know or maybe recognize. And especially combined with that mediator energy, you are already doing a lot on your own, on top of trying to balance out the people and environments around you. So that's double work, right? That's physical, like, labor on you, but that's also emotional labor that you have to do for other people as well. Which is why I could see there's a lot of mental chatter here. That's why there's a lot of things going on in your head all at once, because I'm sure it's not just your own problems, it's other people's problems too. And also, maybe you were a high school athlete. Maybe you're not. You don't have to be. I'm definitely not one, so I can't relate to that life. But there's this energy that is like, you really, it's like you've been training so long You've been at whatever you've been at for so long. Maybe you have a goal in mind. Maybe you're in school. Maybe you just have a long-standing goal that you've been working on for a very long time. And I can feel that tiredness within you. I can feel like you're the athletes that are like on their last lap and you want to collapse. But I do sense that unwavering sense of commitment and that sense of discipline that has led you here regardless. And if you were an high school athlete, like from what I know, they tend to push themselves to the absolute limit. I get it, right? You're young and you're probably not going to get that flexibility or dexterity ever again. So that's kind of why you get pushed to the limit that you are slash were. But in this stage of your life, I'm pretty sure you're not a high school athlete, and that's okay. I'm not even coming at you in like the physicality sense of like, yeah, you don't have that like that athlete build. That's not what I meant. I feel like you're pushing yourself mentally, physically, emotionally to the point where you've pushed yourself past your limit time and time again, and you really don't need to. I understand there's circumstances that won't allow you to stop right at the very moment of things. And I'm not saying completely to stop or to give up your race or to just like collapse on the metaphorical track here. But I will say, I feel like you've pushed yourself to the limit because you think that is your standard way of operating things. Because again, I can already tell this group has a lot on their plate. I think you are very relied upon in the environments that you're in and the people that you surround yourself with. But yeah, at the cost of you pushing yourself past your limit. And I think wherever you are in your life, that emotional slash mental imbalance that you've been feeling, yeah, I wouldn't really blame you for feeling that way, because you tend to push yourself in a way that almost leads you to like really extreme outbursts of thoughts or emotions, and to the point where it's almost like you are bullying yourself. It's like, yeah, you're so strong with an athlete spirit, right? But then if you're using your strength to basically bully yourself out of aggression and you don't know where to put your anger or your emotions, then yeah, I feel like as much as you uphold other people, like you also have a tendency to be the biggest bully to yourself, and I'm really sorry. Group 3, I don't want that for you. And I think enduring and being resilient, right? Those are traits that not, of course, like it's not the best feeling in the world to have to develop those traits, because that means you have to go through a lot. But I will say that there is pride in being resilient, and there is pride in seeing completion to the things that you set your mind for, because you've done it before, but this time I feel like the universe is really giving you the pathway to doing something, to completing something without pushing yourself to the limit. Like you actually have the slate and the space to find the balance mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally in a way that you haven't before. And yes, does that take some trial and error? Absolutely. But what better time than the present to realize that you can work smarter, not harder, and not push yourself to the point where you have to be a bully. You have to have these thoughts that are eating away at you. You're having these emotions that are eating away at you. Like you can do something different. You can, instead of just training for whatever end goal you have, you can also train yourself to have healthier coping mechanisms. So I think that is already a really great place to be, and that part of your life that is going to impact the world by showing other people that you can also train yourself to have great habits and to take care of yourself holistically. But the final part of what makes you supernova, what phase of your life is about to explode with potential. And there's the throat chakra card and the shadow card. I think this is the moon in traditional tarot. Oh, you can't see that. 1 second. Okay, cool. I wasn't really gonna take reversals for the readings, but I felt like it was important to note that the throat chakra card came out reversed. I think that what phase in your life is going to explode with potential, it's the fact that you can transform your life with the power of words and the way that you speak to yourself. I think there's a lot to you that you're still uncovering for yourself, and you definitely don't have to do it all at once, right? Especially with the comparison to a marathon. Some days you're gonna have training days where your best is 60%, and some days your best is gonna be 80%. What remains consistent is that you are a high performer. And I think that in this next stage of your life, the way that you communicate that to yourself is going to matter. Like, especially like the way that I interpret the reversal of this card is that your words have such a transformative power that the minute you realize that you can actually talk to yourself in a healthy, uplifting way is going to do wonders for you. Like, instead of being your own bully, you could actually be your biggest supporter. And I think there's nothing more empowering than realizing that you can actually be your own best friend and your biggest cheerleader rather than the person that brings yourself down the most. And yeah, of course, you're, like I said, it's not an overnight thing. This is obviously going to take some work. I'm sure this is going to lead you on a path that is going to uncover some uncomfortable emotions on why you even speak to yourself that way in the first place. Uncovering toxic patterns or conditioning that led you to have this inner talk to yourself or these beliefs around yourself. But overall, in your life, what is about to explode with potential is that you're connecting spiritually to your body and getting in touch with your emotional and mental body as well. Instead of just being this athlete, this person that does it all, pushes themselves to the limits at the expense of your well-being, the part of your life that is exploding with potential is that you're supporting a healthy and stronger performance in your day-to-day without pushing yourself to your limit. And I think that's great. Like, you are strong, and I don't want to say that in a way where it's like, yeah, I understand being strong is not always a compliment, but in this case I think it is. So please remember that. You are amazing, and I hope that you tell yourself that too. You have done so much work to come to this stage of your life, and whether it's small or big, please remind yourself that you are doing enough. Each day, no matter how big or small your steps is, please tell yourself that you are doing enough, and you should be proud in the progress that you've made with each step of the way. And so to close off your reading, I just wanted to pull some lyrics from Supernova, and maybe this is a special treat since you are the last group, but I had 4 lyric cards in total, so I knew there was going to be one group that had 2 lyrics from Supernova, and you happen to be that group. So the lyrics that you guys got was "Don't Forget My Name" and "Look at Me Go, Gonna Have a Ball, Light at the Core, So ha ah ah, ha ah ah ah." okay, like in my personal opinion, I think these two lyrics are probably the most iconic in Supernova. Special shout out to the part in Supernova. I didn't include it as a lyric for these readings, but the lyric that goes body bang. I'll throw that in for y'all, group three, since you are like the athlete pile. I would definitely say this is the hottie pile. This is definitely the pile that goes to the gym and looks hot. So there's that. You get to beat that special group that I call hotties. But what I'm getting from these lyrics is that you're iconic. Whether you recognize that or not, the things that you do are iconic, and this is why I need you to have healthy ways of doing things so that you can fulfill your goal. Because once you've completed it, people are gonna look at you and realize that there are only, like, you were meant to do this. Whatever goal you were meant to complete, you were meant to do this. Like, it's going to be so like almost trademarked to the point where it's like, I can't even imagine how did they do that? How did they accomplish that? Because this is your path, and the way of you doing things is so unique to everyone else that it's like you kind of have to complete it so that other people can be like, yeah, there was no other way. I could have not done it the way that pile 3 did that. That's why I think like the don't forget my name part. It's like, yeah, because when all is said and done, they're going to be like, pile 3 did that. Pile 3 is iconic for doing that. Only I can imagine pile 3 doing that. And whether you have a sense of pride or not, I think you owe it to yourself to get that recognition, because there's so much work that has been put, that has already been done, will be done, and you deserve to reap that success. Like, absolutely, you deserve that clout. Like, body bang, look at you go. People are gonna look at you and give you the recognition that you deserve, as much as it is you looking in the mirror and you accepting that for yourself too. Like, yeah, you do deserve to shine. You do deserve to be radiant. Like, you can reclaim your power and have your moment where it's like, yeah, don't forget my name because I did so much work to get here. So yeah, like, iconic behavior, pile 3. If I know you're tired and I know you're exhausted, but please, we need your light. We need you to transform the world with your essence. Like, you like holistically are working on yourself in all angles, and you deserve to be proud of that. First of all, you deserve to be proud of that, and I hope you know how much light you have in you. I know there's a lot of like darker colors in here, but that just proves of how much awareness you're stepping into, how much you've worked, how much shadow work too you've also done for yourself, just so you can uncover the parts of you that other people may have projected, or things that you have to carry for so long, and now you get a chance to step into the light and be that supernova you always were meant to be. So yeah, iconic behavior, pile 3. I'll see you in the next one.